It's been 21 years since Diablo 2, and if you missed the seminal classic or are hankering to revisit, then the remaster Diablo 2 Resurrected is upon us and is coming to consoles for the first time. The classic game's got a brand new look, as well as a few tweaks and additions to modernize the experience for a new and returning audience. So here's everything you need to know, and all the biggest changes. For more Diablo and to keep up on what's happening at Activision Blizzard with regard to the ongoing legal action taken by the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing, make sure to subscribe. Diablo II Resurrected is the complete edition of the original game, including the base game and its Lord of Destruction expansion. The most significant change is the new visual style, which presents the game at 4K resolution. While the original was 2D, the remaster runs on a new 3D engine that has reimagined many iconic characters, locations, loot, and monsters. It paints over the 2D sprites with 3D rendered models to give it new life. The original game's cinematics and soundtrack have also been rebuilt from the ground up, but if you still want to experience the original Diablo 2 as it was, you can tap the Legacy button and instantly swap to the classic look in real time, now playable in modern monitor resolutions. And speaking of monitors, while you'll be able to play the game on an ultrawide, it won't support the full 21:9 ultrawide aspect ratio, instead only extending to 19:9. 21:9 support was included in the game's technical alpha, but was removed because it broke the game. Specifically, playing at an ultra-wide aspect ratio made it so that players could attack from further ranges than the game was designed for. Enemies targeted from the extended range ultra-wide monitors provide simply failed to recognize they were being attacked, and as a result, didn't react. On a mechanical level, Resurrected doesn't change much of the core gameplay from the original game, which was the intent according to Blizzard. However, there are updates to the game that aim to make the dungeon crawling and power growth less tedious for your chosen class, like auto gold pickup, more helpful tutorial tips, and reminders to use your skill points. You can toggle these on and off at will. The biggest change that relates to the flow and management of loot is the new shared stash box, allowing you to easily share items with your different characters. In the original game, if you wanted to share items amongst all your characters, you would have to find an empty server, drop your gear, swap over to a different character, and pick up the items with them to do so. This new mechanic doesn't substantially change the game, but it does make things a bit more manageable for dedicated players. With regard to ladders, Blizzard revealed that in order to ensure server stability at launch, the game's first ladder season will come shortly after the game's release, but won't be available on day one, and that formerly ladder-exclusive unique items, rune words, and recipes will be included in non-ladder multiplayer and single-player for the first time. Ladder seasons usually last around 6 months and require new characters to be created, and there are ladders for both normal and hardcore, aka permadeath, characters. But of course, one of the biggest changes is that the game is available on consoles for the first time. In regards to how Resurrected handles displaying and mapping abilities, Blizzard took cues from its console port of Diablo 3, showing certain abilities in a tray on the lower part of the HUD. The game also controls differently. On console, you have direct control of your character's movement with your thumbstick, whereas on PC, you click on a destination and your character will wander over. Looting is also different compared to the PC version. Instead of holding down a button to see loot on the ground and then clicking to pick it up, the console version automatically displays items on the ground for players nearby. Simply walk over items slowly to pick them up. Diablo 2 Resurrected will still have online multiplayer. Along with bringing back 8-player games, Resurrected's online infrastructure has been updated to protect players against cheaters and those looking to hack. However, it has been confirmed that the remaster will not have crossplay amongst the different platforms. TCP/IP multiplayer, which allowed players to connect via LAN or other peer-to-peer connections instead of official servers, will not be present in the remaster, and Blizzard cites security risks as the reason you'll be limited to dedicated Blizzard servers when you play online. It will also allow for cross-progression, meaning if you've been hanging onto your PC save file for 20 years, your local single-player save will work. Back at BlizzCon earlier this year, Blizzard spoke about the different lessons learned from the making of Warcraft 3 Reforged, which was released to a mixed reception from fans. Much of fan disappointment for Warcraft 3 came from Blizzard using the remaster to replace the original game on Battle.net, making it the only way to play the last strategy game in the Warcraft series. In our talk with Blizzard at the time, the studio stated that they plan to keep the original version of Diablo 2 on Battle.net, which will be playable alongside the remaster. While Resurrected will keep the classic game and visuals in its legacy mode, players who are still used to the original can opt to play that instead. The remaster of Diablo 2 is coming from both Blizzard Entertainment and developer Vicarious Visions. The latter previously worked on the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy remaster and 2020's Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, so the studio has quite the pedigree when it comes to updating classic games. Along with handling the remaster, Vicarious Visions is also behind the process of bringing Diablo 2 to consoles, which, as I mentioned earlier, marks the game's first appearance away from PC. Diablo II Resurrected is the first major game release from Blizzard as parent company Activision Blizzard continues to address allegations from a state of California lawsuit that's accusing parent company Activision Blizzard of fostering a frat boy culture of harassment and discrimination against women. Thousands of employees signed an open letter condemning how the company responded to the lawsuit and staged a massive walkout on July 28, 2021. The California Department of Fair Employment and Housing later updated its lawsuit, accusing the company of destroying evidence pertinent to the investigation. Following those allegations, numerous veteran Blizzard employees left the company, with President J. Allen Brack stepping down and Jen O'Neill and Mike Ibarra taking over. Parent company Activision Blizzard is also facing a separate lawsuit from employees, which alleges that the company is using coercive actions to prevent organizational efforts to improve working conditions. It's also facing a third lawsuit, this time from its shareholders, who allege that the company failed to notify them about the Department of Fair Employment and Housing's 2-year investigation. The SEC has also launched an investigation over the company's handling of employees' allegations of sexual misconduct and workplace discrimination, and has subpoenaed Activision Blizzard and multiple senior executives, including CEO Bobby Kotick. There's a link in the description where we're keeping a timeline of all events to do with the Activision Blizzard legal action, so make sure to keep an eye on GameSpot to keep up to date.